Good morning, everybody. TGIF. Early morning crypto talk. Bitcoin Brandon here. We'll get started in a second. You guys excited about Friday? Good morning, Shauna. Good morning, Jason. Mahfouz. What's going on, Gerald? Friday morning crypto talk. What's going on, Jeremy? This is an old song, actually. An old beat I forgot about. Exciting week this week. What's going on, Darnell? And before I begin, I always state that I am not a licensed financial advisor to be giving financial advice. I share the news, give my opinion, my suggestion. You take that information, do your own investigation and research, and make your own decisions on anything in this space. Cryptocurrency is the future. The greatest economic shift in wealth in the history of mankind for the most amount of people. If you got internet access, you have no excuse. You can be in the game. Doesn't cost a lot of money. You can start with $5. But you must get educated first. That should be your primary #1 goal. Education. Hello, Benita. Actually, Mahfouz, every day is Saturday when you're involved in crypto the right way. Where you don't have to answer to anybody. All right, let's go ahead and get started here. We got a couple of articles. I always like geopolitics, but we're going to start with the scams. What's going on with the scams? $9 million a day is lost in cryptocurrency scams. Here's another reason why education is so important. Because when you're educated, you increase your chances of avoiding scams. Or, if you happen to be a part of a scam and you don't know it yet, because a lot of times a scam isn't a scam until they scam you. All right? There's a fine line. It all depends on the intent of the creator. And you don't know what that intent is until they do it. But if you're educated and you still find yourself in that situation, you minimize your loss. You minimize your risk. And one thing in the crypto space that we preach diversification, I can still guarantee that you will lose somewhere. I don't know when, I don't know where, I don't know how much, but you will accept it. But the more education you have, minimizes your loss, minimizes your risk. Got to be smart. So let's talk about $9 million a day in scams. That's a lot of money per day. In the time it takes you to read this sentence, $850,000 will have been lost to cryptocurrency scams. In the time it takes you to complete this article, that figure will have risen to $17,000. I mean, this is hackers' paradise right now. This is a golden age for them. Phishing, fraud, theft, hacking. It's all rife. In the first 2 months of 2018, there were 22 separate scams involving thefts of $400,000 or more. Put it all together, and that equates to an average of $9.1 million a day. Oh, and that doesn't include 2018's outliers: CoinCheck, BitConnect, and BitGrail. Otherwise, the total would actually stand at 23 million a day. There's a scammer born every minute. Welcome to 2018, where $1.36 billion has already been stolen by cryptocurrency scammers, and we're only 59 days into the year. Even when the big three, who's the author of this? Kai Sedgwick. Okay, he's got an agenda. Why he keeps using this? The big three, CoinCheck, BitConnect, and BitGrail, are removed from the equation. That figure stands at a hefty $542 million. I read an article by this guy last night, and I disagreed with half of what he said. Always be objective and critical of everything you read in this space. They don't have the holy grail on crypto knowledge. Nobody does. It's fluid. It's always changing. All right, if that trend were to continue for the remainder of the year, hackers, scammers, and fraudsters would pocket $3.25 billion, which is the GDP of a small African nation. That figure sounds damning, and it is one that cryptocurrency exponents will be swift to seize upon. A little context then. One of the biggest things about the cryptocurrency space is its transparency. This is a principle which doesn't just apply to blockchains. It applies to the entire ecosystem. Publications such as news.bitcoin.com, together with many more, while happy to report positive developments, have no qualms about disclosing the negative side of cryptocurrency. The good, the bad, and the ugly are all publicized. Firstly, because it's relevant, and secondly, because this knowledge helps readers defend themselves against similar scams. Oh, and let me add this one, Kai. And sometimes you guys cause the very thing you're reporting on. I've seen that happen. You know, there's no such thing as 100% objectivity when it comes to reporting in this kind of space. Because what you say can influence the readers. It's not factual news. It's more, what do they call it on Fox News? Entertainment news? Or CNN say the same thing. It's not actual factual news. You know, you are subject to whoever the author is and their opinion. And that includes me. I have an agenda. I always say that from the beginning. So question everything. So let's see here. It would be great to see the number of cryptocurrency thefts drop to $4 million a day, then 1 million, and eventually 0. But realistically, that's not going to happen. The best that can be hoped for is a reduction in the amount lost to scammers. That's what I say. I agree with that statement there. Because if you're educated in this space, that doesn't shield you from 100% of no risk. You just limit the amount of risk you're exposed to. The best that can be hoped for is a reduction in the amount lost to scammers. You don't have to be smart to trade cryptocurrencies, but doing so will almost certainly make you smarter. That's true. The average crypto holder is more aware of security threats, both cyber and physical, and more inclined to question everything. The average crypto holder? No, they're not. The average crypto, I disagree with that sentence. He says the average crypto holder is more aware of security threats, both cyber and physical, and more inclined to question. No, they're not. That's incorrect. And that's the problem. If they're educated, then yes. But most are not. More than 50% of Americans have now been exposed to Bitcoin. Only 5% actually own a percentage of it. And only 0.5% of the American population is educated on crypto. All right. You might one day sell your Bitcoin, but you're unlikely to ever disable your 2FA. That's what a good grounding in the crypto trenches does. I mean, I tell you guys, every day I'm getting exposed to questions, and people ask me all the time, Brandon, why are you doing an education platform when people can just go to YouTube? Yeah, they could. But it actually saves me time, because 90% of my day is spent answering questions. Like, I got this one this morning. Says, Brandon, can you tell me more about Bitcoin? Is there anybody in the UK I could talk to? Now, how do I answer that question? How would you answer that question? I could tell this individual, yeah, go to YouTube and Google Bitcoin. Do you know what I used to do? I haven't done this in a while, and I need to remember to do it as well. But last year, what I used to say when somebody would ask me a question like this, if you want to get started in the Bitcoin, the first thing you need to do is go to Netflix, pull up a documentary called Banking on Bitcoin, and start from there. The reason why I stopped doing it is because they would. And then immediately afterward, their one question has now turned into 50. And they come back to me and they're excited. Brandon, I saw that documentary, Banking on Bitcoin. Man, I want to get involved. How about this? What is this? What is that? What coin should I invest in? Are you in other things? Da-da-da. How do I get a wallet? How do I buy Bitcoin? How do I sell it? How do I move it to my bank account? Can I move it to my bank account? Do I have to pay taxes on it? What is an exchange? What exchange should I use in Germany? Is it different in the UK? I mean, the questions never end. And I'm not getting paid to answer the questions. See, time is money. All right? Time is money. So cryptogenics is actually saving me time while making me money. It's saving me time because now when I get asked these questions, you know what I'm going to say? You need to sign up with cryptogenics and go through the training course. The training course is going to teach you everything you need to know about crypto from A to Z. And then you can ask me a question afterwards. You can't ask me any questions if you haven't gone through the training course. Well, I could just go to YouTube and find it. Why do I got to pay for it? Then go to YouTube. I can also detail and wash my own car on my driveway. But why do I pay for it? Saves me time and I get a professional job. Good grief, Peter's blowing me up. Hold on one second. Peter, doing a Facebook Live right now. Blowing me up. Dang. Always when I do a Facebook Live, people blowing me up. All right. So let's continue. Break down 2018's biggest scams. I'm gonna, because I know he's gonna mention the company here. Let's see what he says. News.bitcoin.com profiled every major cryptocurrency scam to have been reported in the first 2 months of 2018. Incidents which occurred last year but were only discovered in 2018 were included, but conservative valuations were taken to avoid overinflating the figures. BitConnect, for example, was included because the exit scam occurred this year, but the scheme was valued at $250 million rather than the maximum possible $1.5 billion, which seems unrealistic. Similarly, the Arise ICO scam was recorded at a lower figure than the $600 million reported. In some cases, it was impossible to obtain a valuation, and so that field was left blank rather than hazard a guess. Because hacks such as the CoinCheck incident are so large, they have been recorded here but omitted. Okay, hold up. First and foremost, this guy is calling anything that might have failed a scam. CoinCheck wasn't a scam. CoinCheck got hacked. So how are you calling them getting hacked a scam? BitConnect exit scam wasn't them running off with everybody's money. They gave everybody the BitConnect coins back at value, and they dropped in value according to the market. It's not like one dude at the end got all the loot and took off. Everybody got the coin. The coin is just worthless. Now, the manner that they did it is shady as all hell. You got to be careful what you put and label things in, because the only reason why that collapsed was because the people behind it got scared and didn't want to deal with the laws, rules, and regulations in the United States, which I'm still puzzled about, because 90% of their business was coming out of Asia. But they were getting a lot of bad press from over here. Let's see here. There's a whole lot here. It says, well, they call BitConnect an exit scam. That could be kind of true. LoopX exit scam. So he does have this broken down. The scam types: fraud, phishing, exit scam, hack. How can you call a hack a scam? I mean, even Coinbase gets hacked. Are you calling Coinbase a scam? I know. I read this dude's article last night. I don't like this guy, Kai Sedgwick. So I always question the authors of reports, because it doesn't necessarily mean they're true. All right, enough of that. Let's go into geopolitics. What's going on around the world? So we've got Russia, Germany, and Ukraine. I want to start with Ukraine. You're right, my fools, because if that didn't happen, people will still be getting paid right now. Yeah, I know what Peter's blowing me up. We got the Blockchain Expo that's taking place in London in April. I'll be there, and we're looking to have a cryptogenics style event there. So he wants to plan for that. So everybody in London, we're coming to town. Okay, Ukraine's financial watchdog clarifies stance on cryptos. All right. You put this link in the chat box. And again, as far as, since I mentioned BitConnect, if you followed my prime directive when it comes to how to handle crypto in anything, you didn't lose a dime in BitConnect. Especially if you were with it at least 60 days. All right, Ukraine's financial watchdog clarifies stance on cryptos. The State Financial Monitoring Service of Ukraine has published its official position on crypto matters. While offering some borrowed definitions of terms like virtual currency and mining, the agency notes that changes to the legal status of cryptocurrencies in the country are expected. In a statement published on its website, SFMS said it was constantly collecting, processing, and analyzing financial data, including crypto-related information. According to the official announcement, the agency is following transactions that are subject to regular monitoring, but not only. Dubious money flows outside the mandatory scope are also monitored. Ukraine's financial watchdog has drawn attention to one of its main priorities, the implementation of customer due diligence measures. The agency believes regulatory efforts in that area should be focused on cryptocurrency exchanges, wallet providers, and intermediaries between the traditional financial system and the crypto ecosphere. It said these parties should abide by the current Ukrainian anti-money laundering and anti-terrorism financing legislation. The monitoring service has also clarified its stance on several other aspects of regulation, noting that it expects changes to the legal status of cryptocurrencies in Ukraine. SFMS admits it is currently following guidelines from the Financial Action Task Force. The Paris-based intergovernmental organization has issued recommendations to combat money laundering and terrorism financing. Again, you know, governments always want to use that. Crime and terrorism. Have you heard any major news on anything where ISIS was caught, you know, money laundering a whole bunch of Bitcoin and doing transactions through crypto? I haven't heard of that. And they're always vague in describing what type of money laundering and terrorism financing. Give us some proof. Give us some examples of this taking place. You don't. They're only talking about the possibility of it, when in reality, it's the US dollar that's taking up 99% of all criminal activity. But they want to spend all the attention and say, crypto's bad because of crime. So we got to regulate it. It says Ukraine has yet to adopt its own current cryptocurrency regulations. 3 drafts have been introduced since last year. The first draft submitted in October defines cryptocurrency as property that can be exchanged for goods and services. The second, wait. That right there is an oxymoron. A dichotomous. That's like, if you say it's property, my house is property. Can I transfer my house for goods and services? No, it doesn't work that way. But you're treating crypto, just call cryptocurrency currency then. Why are you labeling it as property? The second draft law states that cryptos are financial assets. The third bill proposes tax exemptions for profits from crypto trading and mining incomes. Okay, I like that third part. I like the third bill. All right, let's move on from Ukraine. What about Germany? Got family in Germany. So what about Germany? Bitcoin transactions to be treated as legal tender for tax purposes in Germany. Ooh, that's interesting. We already read about the state of Georgia, Arizona are both looking at the citizens in the states are able to pay their taxes with crypto, with Bitcoin. That's interesting. If there's any declaration that Bitcoin is a currency, the government just said so. We're willing to take your Bitcoin as payment. So anybody that runs their mouth and say, Bitcoin's not real money, then why is the federal government or the state government accepting Bitcoin as payment for taxes? See, there's 2 things that's constant in life. Death and taxes. You can't avoid either. But there's a third thing that's also constant. The oldest profession in the world. Prostitution. Hookers, strippers. The selling of the human body for a financial good. And you know what? The moment they start accepting crypto as money, as payment for their services, you better believe it's real money, because a stripper isn't going to take monopoly money. And guess what? The strippers, the prostitutes, Bunny Ranch in Vegas, they're all taking Bitcoin now. In fact, I read the article the other night that they're getting QR code tattoos. So all you got to do is wave your phone on wherever that tattoo might be on their body. You use your imagination. So what's going on in Germany? And yet another forward-thinking maneuver. The German Federal Ministry of Finance has released a report on Tuesday, February 27th, outlining taxable events regarding Bitcoin payments. Specifically, the financial authority looked into how to tax miners, cryptocurrency transactions, and the taxable role that exchanges play in the ecosystem. What's more, the document based these statements on the contents of the European Union's VAT directive. One of the more intriguing features of the document revolves around its reference to existing financial legislation. While Germany itself is turning into somewhat of a hotspot for crypto startups and pundits, by including EU-wide regulations, it offers an optimistic perspective for the rest of the Union. The document reads, regarding payment in Bitcoin, the fee for the service provider is determined by the equivalent value in the currency of the member state in which the service is provided, and at the time when the service is performed. The conversion from Bitcoin to fiat shall be carried out at the latest possible selling price in conjunction with Article 91, Paragraph 2 of the VAT Directive. To what extent this has already urged other member states to consider re-evaluating their stance on the subject is still to be determined. At current, however, France is wrangling with how best to reel in the growing market. Switzerland is redefining itself as a haven for crypto businesses and is in the midst of offering Ethereum-based identities for, Ethereum-based identities for citizens of Zug, the city? The first city that's going to offer blockchain passports. Now that is huge. That's huge news right there. So Europe is like dominoes. When one country does something, the rest, if they want to remain competitive, they're going to start to follow suit. So that despite the uncertainty, one thing is clear. Many officials are aware of the need for a common communal response to borderless payment systems. Germany in opposition to the United States. The new ruling also opposes contentious regulatory positions made by the United States. While the German document opens with, the use of Bitcoin shall be equated with the use of conventional payment instruments, insofar as they serve no purpose other than a pure payment instrument, the U.S. treats the pioneer cryptocurrency as property as far as taxation goes. Such a label puts any transaction, even those made to buy groceries, a tank of gas for your car, or a pizza, would be considered a taxable event, with both parties held responsible for reporting any capital gains. I have a feeling, in the long run, that's going to change in the United States. They're not going to look at it as property. It's going to be more treated as currency. The reason why they don't treat it as currency, because that's more of a threat to the banks. And they're able to do a whole lot more taxing by treating it as property. I mean, you get taxed when you hold it, taxed when you buy it, taxed when you trade it with other crypto coins, taxed when you use it for any purpose, and taxed when you move it into your fiat currency, and taxed if you earn money in Bitcoin. So that's enough of that one. Let's go to Russia. This came out 8 hours ago. Crypto tax breaks proposed by officials in Russia. And you see the difference here? The United States is trying to tax us to death on it, while our nemesis is doing the complete opposite. They're embracing this like no other. Not because their banks in Russia want to. Not because the communist system wants to. But because Vladimir Putin wants it to happen. To fulfill his manifest destiny. And his manifest destiny is the re-rise of the Soviet Union as a world power and the marginalization of the United States. And if you can't beat the United States on the battlefield, you beat them in technology. You get rid of the US dollar. You avoid US sanctions. Now you're free to do whatever you want, and you're not worried about if the United States likes it or not, because there's nothing we can do. What are we going to do? Go to war? What did Vladimir Putin just do yesterday? Everything's done for a reason. It's calculated. Have you guys paid see, if you're in my office, I've got 3 screens up. I've got my laptop hooked up to my big screen as well, and I've got one TV that's also on the news 24/7. I like to stay current. Vladimir Putin yesterday announced that he has a new nuclear weapon that can hit every single point on the planet from one warhead that has multiple warheads that the U.S. is flipping out about. So, in one hand, he's marginalizing the U.S. dollar and saying, I don't care what you say, your sanctions are going to have no effect on me because I don't need you anymore. And that only leaves the United States with one other option. When diplomacy fails, we drop bombs. We're not going to drop bombs on Russia because they have a natural deterrent. They also have a nuclear arsenal. And him announcing this newest nuclear missile is saber rattling. It's reminding us, hey, don't even think about it. So that's why it's important for us to pay attention. This is why I like that Eric about the Jericho from Tony Stark. It is. Did you guys see it on the news? It launches in like 3 stages. Once it gets into the atmosphere, it splits up, and there's like 6 or 7 mini warheads that are programmed to go to different targets. I was like, what in the world is the Jericho? So what does Russia have to say about taxes? Tax exemptions on profits from crypto-related transactions have been proposed during a meeting at the Ministry of Economic Development of Russia. Why can't our president do that? No, our president did the opposite. our president, or your president, signed a tax law in December that screwed everybody in the crypto space. You're not feeling it right now, but you will feel it next year, because that's when it goes for 2018 taxes. Right now, you guys are scrambling around trying to report your Bitcoin taxes, and it's still being treated as capital gains, which means there's a lot of loopholes there for you. That's been shored up. Donald Trump closed those loopholes. You're going to get hit next year. They are stifling innovation, our own government, but Russia's doing the opposite. Want to know why? I said this yesterday, and I'm going to repeat it here. Vladimir Putin made a statement. He quoted, and I don't know where he got the quote from, but it is not his quote. He got it somewhere in the Middle East. And that quote says, "The Stone Age did not end due to the lack of stones, but because new technologies appeared." So let me take you on a little history lesson. The greatness of the United States after the Civil War took place because of the Industrial Revolution. It was magnified after World War I and World War II, when the rest of the world's infrastructure was smashed due to wars for 50 years, while the United States remained untouched because we have two oceans to the east and west, Canada to the north, and Mexico to the south. So we emerged from World War II as a global power with our infrastructure in place, and we used that influence to help rebuild the rest of the world. And for 70 years, we've remained in that status as the only superpower with the demise of the Soviet Union. But everything that has a beginning also has an end. We are only 241 years old. Russia, China, Persia, they're ancient. 241 years is a blink in the eye of their history. And they want their reclaim to glory. So, Putin also went on to say, if we do not take the lead and be the first to embrace this technology, we will be held under the thumb of a nation that does. And they recognize that the United States is not leading the way on this technology. In fact, it's doing the opposite. The United States is trying to hold on to remain the status quo, to keep the power that we already have, when we're in the best position to lead the world on this now and remain number one. We're not doing it because our politicians answer to the banks, and the banks don't want change. The banks want to keep things the way they are, and that's to our detriment, because these other nations, like Russia, is embracing this technology. And it is the greatest invention since the internet. It is the greatest adaptation to humankind since the discovery of agriculture. That's how big this is. And when you get educated, you're able to understand this is even bigger than you thought before. Every major industry is being or will be disrupted. Every day, every industry. There's no exception. There's no industry that can hide. So, they want to give tax breaks to corporate earnings and private incomes. Tax breaks on profits from crypto transactions have been proposed during a meeting of the group at the Russian Ministry of Economic Development. Think about, this is cryptocurrency is decentralized, meaning no government control. Why in the world is a communist nation embracing a decentralized concept? You'd think that would be America. We're we're democracy, we're privatization, we're free market. That's exactly what Bitcoin is. But Russia is all over it. Says the Russian Minfin has been ordered by ordered by President Vladimir Putin to prepare the legislation needed to regulate the cryptocurrency sector. It is also working on its own amendments to the draft, which should be introduced in Russian parliament very soon. The ministry has not seen the latest proposals yet. Deputy Finance Minister Alexei admitted introducing tax exemptions is expedient. Expedient. They're not taking their time on this. They are sprinting. They're Jesse Owens on this right now. Or is that way too old? Oh, I got to use, oh, my mind just went blank. What's the Jamaican runner? Fastest man in the world. They're sprinting on this. The law is meant to regulate the new crypto sector of the Russian economy. It covers public coin offerings and the circulation of tokens separately from cryptocurrencies. Hussein Bolt. Thank you, Mike. Usain Bolt. The bill defines the legal status of smart contracts. 2. On Wednesday, Moisev told TASS that the draft will be present in the State Duma within days. Within days. This is why we got to pay close attention to Russia. They are not playing. Now, Vladimir Putin this is not just happening smoothly. He is finding resistance, but come on now. You think Putin's not going to get his way in his own country? People might end up disappearing if they get in his way. There's more news out of Russia. This came up while I was talking. Blockchain Day. Russia has a Blockchain Day. Kicks off on March 23rd. Let me put this in the article because this only popped up while I was talking right now. All right, let's go here. Blockchain Day, really? I watch WWE wrestling. It reminds me of Rusev. Rusev Day. Blockchain Day in Russia. Blockchain Day Russia, an excellent opportunity to understand everything about cryptocurrency, trading, and the blockchain. Are you kidding me? Really? I mean, can the United States do something? Venezuela is offering free education for all of its citizens to learn about crypto. They know it's that important. Free. The United States, crickets. It's crime. I mean, we don't want guys like John Gotti running around using Bitcoin stuff. We gotta block that stuff. We gotta ban it. But they're having an official government blockchain day so that an opportunity for all citizens to understand crypto. Blockchain Day Russia is the largest forum about cryptocurrency, mining, and blockchain technologies and will be held on the 23rd of March in Moscow. If I wasn't an American, I would be there. Yeah, I'm an American. I'm afraid to travel someplace. That's not happening. Have to get me some security. The event will be held at the concert hall in Moscow. The world's best experts of blockchain technology will perform before the audience and will address such important topics such as review and analysis of actual methods of earning in the market of cryptocurrencies, trading strategies, psychology of the trader. Psychology of the trader? Everything you need to know about the legalization of cryptocurrency. The legalization. This is in the Russian capital. What's America doing? Famous practitioners in blockchain will share their experience and answer questions from the audience. You will be able to personally ask a question to the true world star of the crypto industry, Roger Ver, to get an advice from the expert in finance, Tony Vays. If you don't know these names, you really need to be educated in this space. And also to take part in the discussion about perspectives for the blockchain technology with speakers. I guarantee you that Vitalik Buterin will be there. Guarantee. Oh, who is that? He's the founder of Ethereum. What is he, 20 now? 21? As many others, famous practitioners in blockchain will share their experience and answer questions from the audience. Within the framework of the forum, there will be a panel discussion on the interaction between the blockchain and the state, as well as communication in the speed mentoring format. Professional mentors, what? Are placed at the tables with numbers, and for a limited period of time, all participants have the opportunity to communicate among themselves, make a first impression about each other, and decide when to schedule the next meeting? This is Russia. For those who did not have time to visit the past event, oh, they've done this before? As well as those who are just beginning to study blockchain, the speakers will conduct an accelerated course of acquaintance with technology. They will explain to you what are blockchain, Bitcoin, and other cryptocurrencies, and why the future is for them, how to put a blockchain technology into your own business, what is ICO, etc. This is why Cryptogenics is here, because we must do what the government will not. If the government is not going to take the lead and educate the people, then we do what we always do as Americans best. We the people, we take matters in our own hands and do it ourselves. We don't need the government to hold our hands. But as an American, I am afraid, or I don't want to use the word afraid, I am concerned that as a nation, it seems that we are mute on this and this advancement in this technology from an official government standpoint. Oh, America's not stupid, okay? The powers that be know exactly what's going on. The CIA, the FBI, all the three-letter agencies, they know what's going on. They understand this technology very well. And they're monitoring it. And they know what's going on in Russia. There's think tanks, and then think tanks behind those think tanks, and then people sitting in a dark room just thinking stuff up. Scenarios worldwide. We're just not hearing about it. And that concerns me. Because it's not what the government does that's going to make us great. It's what we the people are allowed to do that has always made us great. And our government currently is stifling innovation. Whereas the Russian government is encouraging it. Blockchain Day Russia is not just another one forum. It's a community platform for everyone who is ready to openly share knowledge about the technologies of blockchain and build a new future today. If you are tired of a generous amount of useless and not effective information, that's what you get on YouTube, and want to get knowledge which tomorrow will help you in practice, then you must register. At the Blockchain Day Russia Forum, you will get the most structured case of useful information from famous speakers and practitioners of blockchain. The forum will bring together more than 1,000 enthusiasts interested in productive cooperation. Let's meet each other, communicate, share experiences, and find customers and partners who share your values. That is interesting. See, I will be in London in April for the Blockchain Expo. And then it will be coming back to Santa Clara, California in November. I'll be there as well. If you're in the crypto space, you should make every effort possible to attend events like this. If there's a blockchain event or crypto event in your area, you want to go to it. You want to become a professional. This is one skill set you do not want to let pass you by, because it is a skill set and the knowledge of the future. My book just came in today that I bought from that 11-year-old kid, a 6th grader, who wrote a 57-page book on Bitcoin. I'm going to finish reading it today. Then I'm going to give it to my 10-year-old son. And whether he likes it or not, he's reading it. And he's going to read it again and again and again. Because he's growing up in a world that will only know blockchain. He was born in the internet world. He doesn't know what life is like before email. Heck, he doesn't even know what life was like before cell phones. He's only 10. So, this is information, this is more valuable than a college degree. You hear what I just said? I've got a kid in college right now. And this information is more valuable than the paper degree he's going to get in 4 years. So you also must have the same mindset. You've got to educate yourself. I don't care how old you are. If you're my age, if you're the children of baby boomers, it's even more important for us. Because we live in a society right now where our parents, the baby boomers, are at retirement age. And they're retiring in the United States. I can only speak for the United States, where 97% of all Americans will retire broke, depending on family, government, and friends. Where they survived the 2008 financial collapse, but they survived by losing their homes, losing their jobs, losing their savings, losing their 401k, and they're trying to rebuild 10 years later. Realizing that there's not going to be enough for them to retire at 65, so they got to wait till they're 72, maybe. Social Security is a joke. The government is now classing Social Security as a government benefit program. No, it is not. It is not a government benefit program. It is our money that we put into the system. It is not a handout, but the government is classifying as that, so in the future, they can take the money legally or shut the thing down. It's your money. But even your money, $800 a month, is nothing. So it's up to be my generation to not only take care of ourselves, but we're going to have to take care of our parents, the baby boomers, and we're going to have to take care of our children, because our children are growing up in a world where 9 times out of 10, they are not going to have a better quality of life than their parents and grandparents. They're going to be one of the first generations that they're not going to leave the house until they're in their 30s. So my generation is going to have to take care of 3 generations. And you're not going to be able to do that on a 9-to-5 job salary. We must adapt. And that's where crypto is here to do. You cannot afford to be a bystander, a cheerleader, a fan. You have to get on the court. You've got to dribble the ball. You've got to take the shot. Because if you don't, somebody else will. And in 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 10 years from now, my son will be 20. My oldest will be 29. And they look at me and say, "Hey, Dad, I remember you talking about all that Bitcoin stuff when we were kids. Why are we still broke? Did you do anything?" "Nah, I heard Bill Gates or Warren Buffett called it a scam, and the news said that it was for criminals and stuff. So, the government was, blocking it and whatever." So I said, I'm not going to get scammed. Not me. I'm smarter than that. I'll let those other fools get scammed. So I didn't get involved. I can't have that conversation with my kids. They're going to look at me like I lost my freaking mind. Like, "Dad, whatever you could have done back then would have set our family up for 100 years. I'm not missing the boat." But the key to drive the boat is education. And in a couple of weeks, we're going to provide that education for the world. So that's it for me. I've got a lot of work to do, unexpected work, but it's got to be done. So depending on the news cycle today, I should be back for late night crypto talk, depending on if anything good pops up. But if not, enjoy the rest of your day and your weekend. Enjoy Friday. Get education. And I'll see you all tonight. God bless. Bye-bye.
Crypto Gen X.